Nearly 99% of deaths after the age of 75 come from just 5 causes. And here's the most sobering part, most of them are preventable. Not with magic. Not with pricey prescriptions or futuristic machines. But with something far more difficult: personal responsibility, discipline, and a life filled with meaning. That might sound harsh, but it's also hopeful, because if you're willing to really hear this, not just with your ears, but with that part of you that still wants to live, then maybe, just maybe, you can escape the quiet fate that most drift into without resistance. See, we're all living under a strange illusion, a kind of quiet deception that tells us aging equals decline. That growing old is the beginning of the end. And while it's true that our bodies change, our muscles weaken, our skin loosens, our steps slow, our soul, that doesn't decay in the same way. What if I told you it's possible to enter your 80s with more clarity, more purpose, more love, and more aliveness than you had in your 40s? It's not a fantasy. But it does require something most people aren't willing to face: a transformation, a full reworking of your habits, your thoughts, your relationships, and how you move through the world. Let me tell you a story. I once knew a man named David. He was a retired carpenter, quiet and weathered by time, the kind of man who built things with his hands and kept his pain to himself. He had lived a life full of effort, raised a family, worked decades, buried friends. By 75, he felt life had little left for him. And then his wife passed. That grief became a quiet, invisible sorrow. He stopped walking. Stopped speaking. Ate less. Stopped eating anything that brought him even the smallest discomfort or joy. Within a year, he was gone, not from illness, not from accident, but from disconnection. From the kind of loneliness that wraps itself around the soul and quietly strangles hope. If we want to understand the 5 leading causes of death after 75, we must go deeper. These aren't just physical conditions, they're emotional, spiritual, and psychological wounds. Cause number 1, physical neglect. Prohibited person lifting weights. The first and most obvious is cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure. These don't appear out of nowhere. They're born from years of poor food, no movement, and unresolved stress. But the heart is more than a pump, it's a symbol of who we are. When we ignore it, when we fill it with emotional and physical garbage, we accelerate our end. Most people don't realize they're dying from broken hearts, not the romantic kind, but from the loss of passion, purpose, and connection. Walking just 30 minutes a day. Eating real, whole foods. Finding someone to love or forgive. These small acts could literally keep you alive. Cause number 2, cancer. Yes, some cancer is genetic or environmental. But most of it is rooted in daily choices, decades of cigarettes, processed food, alcohol abuse, chronic stress, and emotional shutdown. The body keeps score. And it's listening. Every decision is a vote toward vitality or decline. When people say, "I'm too old to change," what they're really saying is, "I've stopped trying." But the body doesn't work on excuses, it works on action. Cause number 3, respiratory decline. Chronic bronchitis. COPD. Pneumonia. Many respiratory diseases are linked to pollution, smoking, or allergens. But they're also linked to something deeper, a kind of learned helplessness. The lungs don't just breathe air, they breathe life. In ancient languages, the word for spirit and breath was the same. When you stop going outside, stop opening windows, stop moving, your spirit begins to suffocate. This isn't poetic metaphor, it's biology meeting psychology. Cause number 4, cognitive deterioration. Neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia strike fear into the hearts of many. And yes, they can be devastating. But they're not always inevitable. Your brain is plastic, changeable, alive. Even in your 80s, it can adapt. Learning, social connection, physical activity, creativity, and a sense of purpose can delay or even prevent decline. You are not doomed. But you must stay engaged. Your brain will respond if you challenge it. 'Cause number 5, accidental injuries. Falls, fractures, car crashes, these may seem random, but often they're the result of poor balance, weak muscles, impaired vision, and a mindset that sees aging as decay. But aging should be mastery. The reward for decades lived. Training balance, strengthening muscles, staying mentally alert, these are not luxuries, they are survival tools. And deeper still, beneath all 5 of these causes lies something else. Something more existential. The real killer, loss of purpose coffin. People aren't just dying from disease. They're dying from a lack of meaning. From waking up with nothing to believe in, nothing to do, no one to serve or love. We avoid talking about this because it forces us to confront what matters. It demands vulnerability. But if you want to thrive past 75, you must have a reason to wake up in the morning. Your grandchildren. Your garden. Your music. Your faith. Your voice. Final cause, spiritual disconnection. When a person becomes spiritually detached, when they lose all connection to wonder, faith, or gratitude, no supplement, no medicine, no routine will save them. The body follows the spirit, not the other way around. Let me leave you with one more story. While on a speaking tour, I met an 82-year-old woman. She stood up during Q&A, sharp-eyed and proud. I started lifting weights at 70, she said. The crowd laughed, until she added that she now deadlifts more than most college students, prepares her own food, and volunteers weekly at a shelter. She smiled and said, "It's not aging that kills you. It's giving up." That stayed with me. And it should stay with you. If you want to beat the odds and live fully, you must fight every single day against the pull of entropy. Choose discipline over ease. Choose meaning over distraction. Choose courage over passivity. And do it now, not later, not when the doctor gives you bad news. Get up. Take a walk. Call someone you've been avoiding. Cook yourself a real meal. Read something that challenges you. Lift something heavy. Forgive someone, or ask for forgiveness. Start today. Because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. And if you're already over 75, then you're exactly on time. You are the elder. The survivor. You're still here because there's something left for you to do. So do it. With everything you have left. And if you're hearing this for someone you love, a parent or grandparent, don't just sit there. Invite them back into life. Engage them. Remind them they are still needed, loved, and wanted. This isn't just a motivational speech. It's a confrontation with reality, and it's an invitation to live fully. Not just until your last breath, but through your last breath. With grace. With strength. With purpose. If this message spoke to you, please subscribe, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't let another day pass in indifference. Because life hasn't given up on you. It's still calling.